You might be thinking about the future or about hope, and so you might come up with an image that represents that. So I was thinking about food production, and there's lots of fields at the moment that are grown here in the UK where we've got fields of corn starting to grow, and we have barley, and we have oilseed rape, and we have oats, and we have corn, and we have maize as well. So I just Googled, and sometimes I find it easier to Google and look for silhouettes. So I just said silhouettes of corn, and then this whole range of images came up. Ignore that one on the right for now, but I drew myself a square 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters, and then I copied that image on that piece of paper. Does anybody want to talk about images that you've got in mind, or is it too soon to do that?
I have something in mind.
Yeah,
because when you were showing the crops, I was like, because this is in agriculture, what about how women, for example, they do their activities in Africa with regard to production? Like you will see women carrying the load on their heads, and some of them they also carry the fresh water. Then also they can go into the bush, they look for wood actually for cooking for the family. So these kind of images.
Yeah.
My own symbol that comes to me will be a little kind of a symbol of a plant, a simple one with the roots and then the leaves, just something simple because it symbolizes expansion, it symbolizes growth.
So that's what I could come up with. My sunflower, so I don't know if I need to cut it out.
These are the two fabrics that I picked up for Kenya. So I thought about roses, wheat, rice, a butterfly, and a woman on a tractor. So I know that's like a lot.
I might think, okay, I might not do a woman on a tractor, but I might do like tractor
tracks.
Yeah. See what I mean? So it doesn't have to be like a literal drawing, and then maybe some your eggs or your chicken.
Nice chicken too.
Yeah, so I think if you were to find some images and cut them out and play with them, and then you could come up with a little kind of composition that does incorporate more than one, but it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be like the butterfly here, the tractor here, the eggs here, unless you want it to, of course, Rick. When you get to this stage, you must remember to give yourself, because remember the fabric is 25 by 25 and the drawing is in a 20 by 20 centimeter box. So that means that we've got a border, we've got to leave a border of 2.5 centimeters all the way around, because that's what we're going to use to stitch them together. Draw around it, and it's quite tricky to see it because of the black lines of the fabric, but the drawing is there. But if you don't want to do the drawing, if you're not inclined to do the drawing, or your participants aren't, that's fine. You can cut something, you can print something out and cut it out, as long as it fits in the 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters box.
In Kenya, we can have this made and have people, if it's just one stitch or two stitches that each person is able, to give or to do on a square.
How I went through doing the Wiltshire horn, that was the drawing of it. Then I cut it out and then I drew around it with the some chalk, tailor's chalk, and to get the image on there. But I also did a version with the iron-on transfer pen, which I think was more successful than this, because this is quite a complicated drawing to do freehand with the tailor's chalk. So the image is the opposite way. So I've started stitching my ear of corn and I've started doing that with a back stitch. So do shout if this is, if you've got any questions about any of this. So a running stitch, which you may or may not already know, is just when you come up from underneath and you do a little stitch and you leave a gap and you do another stitch and you leave a gap and you do another stitch. And a back stitch it starts off as a running stitch, but instead of leaving a gap, when you bring your needle out here, instead of going forwards, you go back and you fill the gap and it goes in there, and then you bring your needle out here. So I've started with the ear of corn, just going along the line with my back stitch.